Hi there, it's Melissa and welcome back to my channel. Today I have my final project for the year for the Confessions of a Paper Addict cut files design team, and I'm using the Build a Globe cut file, and I absolutely love this cut file. So you have a few options of what to put inside the snow globe. There is the church, a Christmas tree and a snowman, but of course, being a Christian, I just love the church, and I thought it would be perfect to scrap our family photo from last year at church. We take one every Christmas day that we're here at home, and there's always an amazing photo booth for us to have our photo in, and so I thought this was just the perfect cut file. And although obviously I live in the southern hemisphere, it's a summer Christmas, I decided to make the snow globe really wintry because we still use decorations etc that are wintry, and yeah, I just love how it turned out. So I glued my cut file and I stuck some acetate on it, and I left it to dry for maybe even overnight, several hours at least anyway. And then I was really careful because I'm using Tombow Mono Multi liquid adhesive, and if you do use too much of it, you can see it when it's dry. But if you just really slow and steady and just take your time with gluing it down like I did, it turns out quite good. So it was a bit nerve-wracking putting the adhesive down because it's not a fine line bottle, but that was okay. And then after I'd done it, I realised that I didn't really need to put acetate over the whole thing. I only needed it where the actual snow globe was, because I wanted to put pattern paper into these parts of the base. So I just used my X-Acto knife to make a wee hole, and I used my little close to my heart scissors just to trim out the acetate. And when it came to gluing the pattern paper in, it was totally fine. It didn't matter that it had a bit of acetate behind it, if you know what I mean. Where I've trimmed it out, there's obviously still acetate behind those white pieces of the cut file. So I probably could have cut this out, but I've left it in. I think I did stop recording some of this, but yeah, just showing you what I'm doing here. I could have left it, but then it would have looked very shiny and I didn't want that. So in my own time, I've backed the cut file and I've backed the snow globe, and I used the Pebbles Merry Little Christmas collection again, which I'm absolutely loving. And I made the church quite whimsical. I used the floral paper and I had so much fun. I used glitter, PAL gold glitter paper to back the trimming, etc. And I used one of the papers had a pale blue pattern as a background, and I used that for the windows, and then I just used the red with gold polka dot for the door, and so it's really, really cute. So here I have painted some grass with my watercolours, and I just went for a couple of shades of green. I'm no artist, but I just played around with it till I was happy with it. And while I left that to dry, I wanted to add something else into the snow globe, and so I decided to fussy cut out some of these adorable little trees from the tree paper. And yeah, they end up with a slightly green border around them, but it didn't bother me. So I guess they make the Christmas tree look massive, but then the scale of the tree next to the church is wrong anyway. But I just love the fact the tree is huge. So here we've got the little scene that I'm creating. I also use the textured side of that American Crafts white cardstock. I don't do that often, but it did add some good texture when it came to painting. So just gluing everything down, adding a good amount of Tombow here. Obviously I want this to be flat because I'm going to put that snow globe over the top. And you'll probably notice with most of my shaker pockets, I don't do them dimensional. I do them very flat so that a lot of what I put in the shaker pocket that would move doesn't really move too much. So I've got those Nuvo, what are they called? Nuvo dots, or I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, you know what I mean, because you've all been using it. I haven't used it before. I had 3 bottles and hadn't used them. I had them from a scrappery kit, and they were, I think, like a rose gold and a copper, or another kind of colour that's not a colour I'd use all the time. So I got the blue and the pink, and I just love how they looked, and I left them overnight to dry because I didn't quite trust them, and I knew that I was putting the acetate over the top. And yeah, if you leave them to dry for a long time, I think they're actually quite good. So here I'm just adding those music notes from the sticker sheet because church always makes me think of singing, especially at Christmas time. Yeah, and then I've got this mix of sequins from Spiegelmom Scraps, and it's called In the New Year, and I loved the mix. Now, I did not use the red ones that are in there. There are not that many, but I pulled them out. And I just love that there's a few black ones, silver ones, there's some silver stars and some white ones, and I think some like holographic kind of flower ones. And it doesn't look that great until you put the snow globe on, but I'm loving how cute that is. And then from our spotlight, I got this, let me grab it. It's this glitter, and it's called Coarse Glitter in Snow White, and it looks like snow. And I'm not sure how well you can see it. It's quite subtle, but it's I was about to say it's fine, but it's not. I've just told you it's coarse, but compared to the sequins, it is fine. And I love the textural element of adding both of those, especially because my snow globe is going to be flat. As in, there's no dimension between the actual globe and the little scene I've created. So just adding more Tombow, and I've left this bit in, but I put it down. I was really nervous about this, and when I'm nervous, I make a mistake. And to me, this looked uneven. It didn't look like that it was straight with the scene, with the line of the grass where the building is and the tree. So I replaced it, and I was sort of thinking, why does my snow globe look a bit odd? But I think it's because I haven't placed the trees and the church. I haven't placed it on the base of the snow globe, but then if I did that, I couldn't have the grass. So I guess this would kind of look realistic because those features would be in the middle of the snow globe if it were three-dimensional. Anyway, I'm happy with it. I love the fact that I've put the grass there. So these are some new scissors that I got from Tim Holtz. I can't remember what they're called. I've thrown out the packaging, but they are, I think they're titanium precision scissors, and they're able to cut adhesive. I think in my last video I may have talked about how my scissors were getting gummed up, my little close to my heart fussy cutting scissors, especially when you back a cut file and then trim it out like I'm doing here. And even when it's dry, you do get some sort of overhang of adhesive, but these scissors are great, and they're actually, although they look really big, it's just the handles, they are really great at fussy cutting. So yeah, I did a little Black Friday shop and I got them there. So then, because I'd repositioned the snow globe, it hadn't adhered very well, so it's a bit frustrating, this process, but I've left it in to show you, it's real life. I had to squirt some glue into it and left it to dry. And then I want to add my dimension to the entire snow globe with some of this just craft foam so I can lift the whole thing up. Now, this pattern paper that I've selected for my background, it's the only thing that's not from that Pebbles collection. It's actually from last year's Print Fresh studio. I was about to say pretty little studio. I can't remember the name of the collection, but I just loved it, and I thought it went really well with that Pebbles collection, so I've decided to go with it. I did go through the paper pad and tried to select another paper from the Pebbles collection, but nothing really worked, and I quite liked the light and airy feel of that blue. It's like snowflakes in a geometric pattern. So I've just used liquid adhesive fully for that double-sided, or for the foam, because I couldn't find my large double-sided tape and I couldn't be bothered looking, and I had to get this done. But glue actually works really well if you find the right one. So off camera I decided what I was going to put where, rather than waste a whole lot of time going through all the embellishments. I did it off camera. That is a piece of ephemera, and I thought Merry Christmas was obviously perfect. I did not want to overlap the snow globe too much. I wanted to really let what I'd made shine, so only slightly do I cover a tiny bit of the branch. I just love the scene in there so much, I just couldn't cover it. And that is a little holly leaf, and I just trimmed it out. I think it came as a piece that you can fold over, but I've cut the other one off and used it for something else. And then I decided to use up some of these stars because you get so many of them, so just 3 groups of 3. And I just love the little whimsy element that it adds. And then these little stickers are so adorable. and I wanted to add some of the little characters on there. There's a little sleigh with some presents, and there's a leaf with some flowers, and then that little hymn book with joy, or carol book, I guess, carolers, because it sort of goes with the church thing as well. And my final touch was just, aside from my journaling, was to add 2018 for the year. These stickers are really old from my stash. I can't quite remember who they're by, but it's always good to use up older things, and I decided not to go for red, but to go for that more green colour, kind of to match the grass that I've painted, and also the background. Although the background isn't green, but it's like, these stickers are kind of, I guess, greeny blue. So quite subtle, and I love how that looks. The title does not dominate the layout at all. I didn't want it to. Yeah, I just love that your eye goes to the snow globe and my photo. So that's my layout. I just had so much fun with this one. I'm so happy with how it turned out. Yeah, I'm just really into Christmas scrapping, and I have to say that Virginia's cut files have just made it so pleasurable and so easy. So yeah, I've got a link to the shop, so make sure you head on over and check it out, and also our Facebook group. Thanks so much for watching.